14th of December 22, it's Wednesday, and I'm talking about SNP because it's looking very good for them with the independents. The last four polls, they've been around about 57%. One of them said Scots favour independence when you take out the don't knows. Another one said 53%. It looks like they're really on a roll. Personally, I think it is going to happen, we're going to become independent, which I'm sad about. I voted in favour of it the last time, but I can see how Scotland's changing now. I mean, I can see that SNP are the party of open borders. I mean, all parties really are open border parties, but especially the left, Greens, SNP, Labour, Lib Dem, they're all open border parties, so that's why I could never vote for any of them, but it looks like basically Scotland, the current majority of Scots are going to vote themselves out of existence, really, to become a minority, the biggest minority, and for kilts and bagpipes to become a sort of supremacist, seen as a supremacist thing. It'll be something that the biggest minority will like in 2060, might still identify with, but the rest of the Scots won't. And this seems to be the way all Scots are voting at the moment. So I'm disappointed that they're doing so well. I mean, I'm presuming that newcomers to Scotland will all be voting for independence because it's the open borders thing, and also SNP's very good at spending money as well. They brought in that sort of children payment, which is on top of a child benefit. So I think it's £25 a child, is it? So that means if you get for two kids, you're getting 25 quid child benefit plus around about 25 plus, I don't know, £18 for the next one or something, and then you've got another £50 on top of that now, so 50, you're nearly at £70, £80 before you've anything else. Maybe I've got that wrong, I don't know, but it just looks, I mean, I think Nicola Sturgeon's a fantastic politician, and I was an SNP supporter and that, but once I saw what's going to happen to Scotland, I thought, oh my God, no, this looks like a mistake. We need to pause it at least, but really it is looking as if it's going to go that way. The people that vote, the various sections of the community that vote, they've got their own perception of what Scotland's going to be like, I think the current majority are very wrong. They're going to be in for a shock. And this is what I wonder, once it becomes obvious how Scotland's going to be, and there's no way back, are these SNP voters going to be angry, with Nicola and Alex Salmond and the likes? Are they going to be angry? Are they going to knock down statues of Nicola? Because I'm talking about 20 years in advance or something. I mean, I think Nicola's been there, 8 years now? I mean, she's going to do longer than Mrs. Thatcher, probably. One way you could look at it is as being dictatorial or whatever, but I mean, I think she's a good leader, and they would be a fool to let somebody else in. Although it does look as if they might have one or two others that could, like Kate Forbes. Looks like she could be up to it. I don't know. But I mean, Nicola gets a lot of things wrong. I mean, she was anti-NATO, as I remember. I think the whole SNP were anti-NATO up until about 2012. So that's probably where a lot of their popularity came, their populism. being anti-NATO, and of course now she's the opposite. Alex Salmond mentioned that, I think, recently as the Alba thing. I don't know what Alba's policy is towards NATO. I mean, it's a common sense thing. Nicola's still anti the nuclear warheads in the lochs, but she was wrong about NATO, wasn't she? I mean, NATO is a sort of thing a 5-year-old can understand. If you're anti-NATO, you know, you're really in a sort of fantasy world, really. But it is looking good for SNP anyway. I don't know. I thought maybe quite a few of them would split off to Alba. I watched the Alba some sort of meeting they had at the weekend. Was it Perth or something? You know, I thought they would take, you know, because a lot of these people are former Labour voters, crazy socialists, like, you know, Labour, SNP. I mean, SNP used to be known as the Tartan Tories. I don't know if that was fair, but they were far from socialist. I think it really was Alex Salmond around about 1990 who brought in. They had a big kerfuffle in the SNP, I think, around about then, because they used to be, I think, more sort of, well, my impression is they were a conservative thing, but now it is weird because independence is doing great in the polls, and yet Labour are making a comeback, which I can't understand either. Why anyone in Scotland would vote Labour now, but apparently Labour are making a bit of a comeback, and they might even get a few more MPs, because it's ironic, they've got one at the moment, and I've been trying to find out for quite a few years now, is Ian Murray keep getting voted in as a tactical vote by, you know, Tories and that, trying to keep the SNP out, and I think it is. And there's quite a few Labour like that now. Jackie Bailey, I think, and that sort of thing now. They're sort of zombie politicians, because they've not been voted in a positive. They've been voted in a negative, you know. So anyway, I don't believe in the electoral systems. I believe in the sort of Swiss electoral system where we get referendums on single issues, and a lot of proportional representation and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen to Scotland, because the court didn't let them do that, their independence thing for next year, which is nearly here now. I think Nicola says she wants to use the next general election as a referendum, which is ironic, because that's my single issue referendum idea, the Swiss model. It's ironic to hear somebody like that, because we vote in parties at the moment, and the parties have their party hampers, and Nicola's got a lot of favourites in there. She's bringing in that law about gender. You know, I'm presuming nobody voted for that, but it's something very dear to Nicola's heart, and that's why I hate this party hamper system, because it's just a big mishmash. I mean, really, once they get the election over, that's them for 5 years. They don't really have to worry. They can do all their favourite things, you know. So that's really disappointing. But I don't know how they're going to do it now, because if they have to wait to another election, well, that could be 2024, probably in May or something, in the summer, maybe late summer. Yeah, you just got to. Well, I just got to go on with it. I mean, Scotland's finished anyway. So is Britain. So is the West. We're all finished. It's way beyond that now. But it would be nice to slow it down, or even pause it, you know, while we can, because there'll come a point where we can't. But so I'm dead against independence now, and the last time I voted in favour of it. But the way I've seen Scotland change, I'm just so shocked, because I think it's a new experiment, and I think it's never been tried in humanity before, and I think it's going to fail, basically. I think it's already showing signs of failing, and I think it's just going to fail. So yeah, if you live in Scotland, I would say if you're anxious about this, do YouGov political polls. When they ask you what 3 things you're worried about, if you're only worried about one, just tick that. Don't dilute it by ticking anything else. And you've got a council by-election coming up and you live in a Labour, SNP, Lib Dem place, Green, vote Tory as a protest vote. It's all you can do at the moment. Tories the furthest you can get as a protest vote. Look out for the Social Democrat Party, because they're sort of the patriotic Social Democrat Party. Yeah, council by-elections and in elections as well, use them as protest votes, you know. Most cases that would be voting Tory or UKIP or whatever. Well, that's it then. That's all I've got to say for the moment.